Hey Coach, it's Coach Simpson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the last of a week-long series I've been doing, so if you haven't had a chance to watch those yet, we talked about defensive terminology all week. Went through what are gaps, what's gap integrity mean, what are keys, what is leverage, and what are fits. That's what a lot of this talk is going to come from that. And then cover matchup zone. What does that mean? How is that different than old zone? Okay, and then today we're going to talk about force. What does the word force mean? Okay, why do we use that word as opposed to contain? And so a lot of this stuff is found on my website. I've actually got my newest book out, my first defensive book that's out. I had to order another batch already if you're interested in how we do things exactly, but I'm trying to keep the YouTube channel more general so you can apply this to whatever defense you run. If you've got questions, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook. You can email me, fbcoachsimpson@gmail.com. So let's talk real quickly about what does force mean? What does force look like? Okay, so force for us is our word we use instead of the word contain, because we don't want the mentality of kind of being soft. We want to go force the action. Okay, so in our defense, and then if you run a 3-4, probably very similar, somebody is assigned force. They better be in any defense you run on any play. That's another word for contain again. Basically, if they're going to run some kind of toss, sweep, whatever it is where they're trying to get to the edge, outside zone, it could be whatever. Who's your guy responsible for the edge, and how do you want him to play? And that's why we use the word force again instead of contain. See the hat behind me, teams that run buck sweep, we want you to play contain, because that means you sit and squat and wait, and we can open up gaps. Force, we're going to be attacking. We got to run with the right leverage, but we're going to come attack. Okay, so if the ball's going out this way, probably 90% of the time, our outside backer is going to be our first primary force player. Okay, which means I am attacking the ball here at the outside hip. Now, I'm not going to continue to just run upfield and give a huge alleyway. I'm trying to squeeze the air out of the ball carrier and make him either cut in a small alleyway like this, or make him go backwards and come out here to our secondary player. Our corners, we don't tell them they're force players. They are contained, because their job is to wait. So if we got this action, our outside backer is going to come squeeze the air out of it from the outside hip. Now that means I'm going to attack, but I understand I still have outside responsibility. So I can't just fly in there uncontrollable and let this guy get the edge easy and put my corner in a really, really bad spot. But I also can't play contain where I come upfield here instead of wide edge, and now that alleyway is a lot bigger for that really good athlete to cut through. So I want to try to squeeze the air out of it and track the outside hip, so I can make this alley smaller so my fitters, a backer and a safety, can fit inside of that alley. We tell them, hey, look, if you're trying to make a tackle, you give the guy an 8-lane highway, it's really hard to tackle him. But if we can squeeze it, we can fit inside on that stuff. Okay? The only time I'm going to make the tackle is if that guy tries to dip and go outside of me, or if he finally commits and I can fall in and make that tackle on his outside hip. Okay? Our corner is a contain player, and that's the big difference between force and contain. Because if I do come in here and I make this guy bounce back 3 or 4 yards, I ought to have a late rally here at corner at contain, and if this has happened, this guy will change that angle. And now he's still going to play inside hip, but now he can spill off of that. I put our safety up here because you can, let me do my eraser, I guess. You can play this different if there's a stunt called. So if I've got a ball carrier here, let's say that we're running some kind of blitz where he's coming underneath in some kind of twisting action, and the ball's going there. Well, now our safety has got to become the the force player, go attack it. Our corner stays on contain, and now we're working inside hip right there. So we're always going to have a force player. We're going to have multiple alley players or inside fitters, and then we're going to try to always have a contain, kind of last resort with our generally that's going to be a corner who's going to be kind of that last resort contain type player. But using the word force allows our outside linebackers to understand they're not just responsible for setting an edge. We want to squeeze the air out of it and shrink that alley. Again, guys, if you want more in-depth stuff, I've got it in here of how we call it, what we do with it. A lot of different pages on here you can kind of go through and look at if you're interested. It's on fbcoachsimpson.com. Also got some courses on CoachTube if you're interested in that. Next week we'll be back to probably a normal offensive type material. I do have my offensive line book coming out, and so I'm really excited about that. So I'll probably do some more stuff in that world. This channel though will kind of hopefully remain as long as I can keep doing these. Appreciate if you'd like and subscribe, and appreciate your time. Don't forget Headsets the magazine coming out Sunday. Free material again. Some really great coaches, some awesome articles. Hope you guys will enjoy that. You can find that also fbcoachsimpson.com/headsets. There's already 3 up. This will be the 4th. So you can go look at free material on our on that website. Appreciate it.